For early access to new episodes and other exclusive content, go to patreon.com/MiharuTheFox. Hey guys, it's Miharu, and welcome back to SpyroCast. This is episode 40. 40 episodes. It has been a long time, but I'm finally back to doing this, and today I have somebody who's never been on the podcast before, which is crazy to me because he should have been on it a long time ago. Introduce yourself.
Hello, my fellow dragons. It's your boy, Travis here.
Hey, it's Travis the Dragon. What's up?
Hello. I want to start off by saying that it's an honor to be in this podcast here.
Yeah, like I said, hey, you should have been on a long time ago, and this is, it's my fault not inviting you sooner. I don't know why I didn't.
Well, it's better late than never.
Alright, so I guess we'll start off with the first question. What is your history with Spyro?
My history? Where do I start? Well, I think I remember being 6 years old, when I found an old disc, that contained a certain purple dragon lying around, and I was like, alright, I'll try it out. So I popped it in the PlayStation 2 because that was the only console my family had at the time, and I started playing the game on that console, and that was the exact moment I fell in love.
Yeah. So this was the first game?
Yeah, that was the first game.
Okay. And then after that, where did it go? Did you just, start playing them all in order?
Well, not exactly. I think at a later point I did discover the mysterious world of the internet, or so I thought at the time. Let's see. I think the first time I found out that Spyro had more games was through a simple search. And I think the second game or third I heard of was probably A New Beginning, and I thought it was like a direct continuation from the first game, but little did I know that it was actually a reboot. So I looked at the cover and I was like, wait, something looks different here.
Yeah, something's up.
Yeah, but, that was just my 6-year-old brain at the time.
Alright. So what are your favorite and least favorite games?
My favorite and least favorite. Well, I do remember a few years ago I made a top 5 list of the best and worst games, and long story short, I ranked Spyro 1 as the best, and I ranked Spyro Orange: The Cortex Conspiracy as the worst.
So Spyro 1 is your favorite?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of a mix between Spyro 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Any particular reason for that?
Well, I might be a little biased here because I have a nostalgic connection with both of those games, but I don't know, I think I like the first game better because of the world building and such, and you get to interact with the dragons too. Yeah,
first game, it sure has its charm. It's really unique compared to 2 and 3. And Spyro Orange is the worst one. I mean, I've played it, and it's oof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an experience. I think I raged less at that one than I did at Crash Purple, for sure.
Oh.
But I definitely wouldn't play it again.
Yeah, I heard Crash Purple was bad, so I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna bother.
Crash Purple hurt me. It was pretty bad.
I can imagine.
But Spyro Orange was just kind of like a turn your brain off.
Yeah. I think what made the game turn me off was, I don't know, the minigames just felt kinda repetitive. Most of them were just, reskins of each other. And even without the minigames, the main area that you're exploring in, I don't know, it doesn't really feel right. A 2D side-scrolling Spyro game can work, they just failed to do so. Yeah,
I thought it was a pretty weird design choice.
It was.
For a Spyro game, at least. Although, I think I would prefer doing that to, the isometric perspective of, the other games, because I don't know, something about that one really throws me off.
Yeah.
I could never tell where I was going. I would, always run off the edge of the map.
Yeah, sometimes I would run into, enemies or pits, without any warning whatsoever. And, that's crazy. And, the fluttering. Like, okay, they got rid of the gliding, so you have to press the button repeatedly and rapidly to make him flutter in the air. Like, what's that about?
Right. Yeah, that is weird. I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
I really remember. It's like a combination of like hovering and the double jump that they brought in A Hero's Tale for some reason. I still will never understand that double jump. But you said that you really like the Legend of Spyro series.
I do kinda like I used to like it a lot like back in the day, but nowadays as I've gotten older, I don't really let nostalgia blind me that much anymore, and while I do still like the charm that it had, there is no denying that the Legend of Spyro series has its problems as well. And I'm not saying the original trilogy is perfect, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, of all the Legend games, which one would you say is the best one or that you enjoyed the most?
It's kind of a tough call. I do like A New Beginning, but I can't exactly remember why. Because I guess what keeps me engaged with it is whenever like you upgrade either the electricity breath or the earth breath at a maximum, it's easier to like knock enemies off the stage or just like obliterate them entirely and just, you know, go on about your day.
Yeah.
At times it can get a little repetitive though, and it is a little forgiving. Like, you know, whenever you die in the middle of a level, it doesn't really punish you as much as the Eternal Night, but the training areas, I think they should have left that out or just kept the temple as like a hub world or something.
Right. Yeah, I do agree with that. I didn't like the tutorials. I feel like those should be skippable because there's nothing worse than like getting stuck on a tutorial. For some reason, that is the worst feeling in the world. It's like I could get stuck at any point during this game, but I got stuck at a tutorial. And luckily, when I was streaming it, luckily I had my cheats and I had my save states and all that, so it made it easier. But man, I really think that those should have been left out or skippable at least. But damn, Earth Breath is crazy.
Yeah, what they should have done was like maybe just add like quick button prompts to give the player an idea of what they're supposed to do instead of like, you know, just holding their hand the whole time.
Yeah, there's something about like button prompt things where it's like, oh, you got to do this perfectly or else you cannot progress. It's like with a thing that I'm probably not even going to use, like like during the rest of the game, I'm probably not even going to use what you're teaching me, but I have to do it perfectly right now or else I can't progress. Like such a stupid concept.
And you have to do it in a time limit, and we're not even going to tell you how much time you have left.
Exactly. You have to guess, and then then you have to get anxiety over how much time you think you have left.
Oh yeah. And when the timer starts going off, you have to be quick, otherwise it's gonna stop, and you have to try again.
Start all over.
Yeah, gotta start over, stupid.
Yeah, but I did enjoy playing A New Beginning on stream. I am going to play the Eternal Night. Not sure when. I actually have to finish up Split Fiction first, and then I will stream the Eternal Night. So that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do it with cheats, obviously, but it's I'm still not really looking forward to it.
I don't blame you. Eternal Night is probably better to play when you're using Dark Spyro, because like it's basically God mode. Like you can just like plow through enemies like really really quickly. Because if you're playing it casually, it's one of the worst Spyro games ever.
Yeah. Like
I know that game has a lot of fans, but I'm not one of them.
Now, I personally, when I first played that game, I just got bored. But I guess I kind of dodged a bullet because apparently the difficulty spike is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But Dawn of the Dragon is always fun.
Yeah, it's not really the best thing I've played, but it does have its charm. And I remember as a kid, I used to enjoy exploring the entire level, and the ability to quote-unquote fly was also kind of a neat addition too, but I'd argue that it's not exactly quote-unquote free flies. I did criticize it in like the ranking video I made a few years ago, but nowadays I've softened up a bit, and I think it's a decent game. I think the only gripes I have with it is that the combat controls can feel a little bit awkward sometimes, like when you're trying to grab an enemy, they're just floating in the air, but you're always missing it when you're trying to grab the enemy. Like, it gets really annoying sometimes, but I think it takes a lot of learning to work with.
Again, with cheats, it's really fun, and Cinder's abilities are always just really fun to play with.
Oh yeah. If you use a cheat to like maximize your abilities, like if you upgrade everything, yeah, you can instantly overpower your enemies.
Yeah, that's so much fun doing that. So going back to the original trilogy, you said that you really like Spyro 1 and 2. They're like tied for your favorite?
Yeah, pretty much. I think what makes Spyro 2 tied is that it has a bit more of a story behind it. Like, yeah, it doesn't like, go so deep into the lore. I don't think Classic Spyro is like known for being so deep, but it does have Spyro interacting with the characters a bit more during the cutscenes, and you get to work with new abilities too.
Yeah, and now where does Spyro 3 fit into all of this? How do you feel about that one?
Spyro 3, it is a good game, but I think it has slightly more problems than Spyro 1 and 2. Mostly in regards to, like, the original game. Like, some of the new playable characters are fine. Bentley is kind of a mixed bag. Sheila is very decent. I guess Sergeant Bird is okay, but Agent 9, I don't know. He's kind of a mess to control at times. And for some of the mini games, they can be a bit much. I'm trying to piece this together. For Spyro 3, it is fun to play casually, but completing it 100%, you would need a lot of experience.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay, that I can agree with. Despite Spyro 3 being my favorite game, the original version being my favorite game of all time, I have said many times that it is not worth it to, it's not even worth it to 100%. It's definitely not worth it to complete.
Unless you're crazy like me.
Yeah, or me, where I've done it like, I don't know how many times on... I've completed that game so many times on the, like, in the Reignited version. It's crazy. I don't know, like, why I've done it specifically on Reignited. The original, I've only done it twice. Reignited, I think Reignited is so broken that I could actually use some things about it to my advantage. Like, in the Yeti race specifically, that thing is so broken and reignited, but I know how to control it.
One thing Spyro 3 Reignited does better than the original is that they actually fixed Agent 9, and now he's a lot more pleasant to play.
Yeah, he feels a lot less stiff. Made it a little bit more like Ratchet and Clank. Not quite, still not quite as fluid as that, but much better. I think a lot of the characters just feel a little bit better.
Well, I don't know about Bentley.
I guess that's about the same. I don't really feel too much of a difference there. Sergeant Bird I always thought was fun to play as.
Yeah, the first two games in Reignited are probably more polished up, because, like, Toys for Bob were in charge, and they had to get another studio for Spyro 3.
Right, Sanzaru, yes. Which, of course, people know for Sly 4, and, well, you know how Sly 4 was received.
Yeah.
Even though I like it. Alright, I guess next question is, how do you feel about the idea of Spyro 4? And do you think it's happening anytime soon?
The idea of Spyro 4 is, let's be honest, it's a long overdue. As for when it's happening, I don't know exactly when, and I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, because, like, I've been hearing so many rumors that it's happening at this date, or it's happening at this event. And I kept buying it, and I kept watching these events, hoping it would happen, and obviously it didn't. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna expect anything spectacular. I'll just wait for the official YouTube channel to actually show us something or whatever, or at least get some confirmation from the developers themselves.
Right. So at this point, are we very certain it's Toys for Bob that they're making Spyro 4?
Well, I would like to believe that. They made a really good collection of remakes for the most part, and they did a good job with Crash Bandicoot 4 and Team Rumble, so if it is Toys for Bob, I'm hoping they'll do the best they can, especially now that they're completely independent.
Right. Yeah, that's gonna make things interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spyro 4, we've been hearing, man, how long have we been hearing rumors about that? For about, I don't know, it's been 5 years, over 5 years?
Yeah, I think we've been hearing those since at least 2020.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's been so long. Man, I just, I hope we really do get some, real good, solid news about it soon.
Yeah, me too.
I would like for it to be revealed at some showcase or whatever. But every time we think there's going to be a Spyro thing, there always isn't.
Yeah, at least give us some hints, so we can get the idea.
No, it seems like our hints, all the hints that we've gotten over the years, just, it seems like they never really amounted to anything. They're just, it's like we got one hint in what was it, in the art book?
Yeah.
In the Crash 4 art book? And it's just not, I need something of substance.
Yeah, we don't want any, articles saying that this game is officially happening without, anything backing it up.
Yes. Proof. Solid proof. That's what we need.
Yeah, if I don't see the barbecue sauce, I ain't buying.
The barbecue sauce. But when it comes to Spyro 4, what are some of the most important things that you think a new game should have?
Most important things. Well, just make it a Spyro game, something that we can familiarize ourselves with.
Do you think the style of the game should be closer to the first game, or bigger focus on exploration, or should it be closer to 2 and 3 and what we're more familiar with?
Well, it doesn't have to exactly be close to Spyro 2 and 3, because I like it when developers experiment with character designs. So if they're redesigning Spyro or something, I'd love to see what they come up with.
Yeah. If you were to redesign Spyro, what kind of qualities or features would you give him?
Oh man, I've made my own Spyro designs over the years. So it's kind of tough to actually decide what definitive design he should have. But if it were up to me, I would say make him maintain that purple shade from the original games, and maybe just make his tail and wings a bit longer and slightly bigger, so that there's a slight hint that he might be aging up a little bit, but not too much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that I've seen some designs that give him the red bandana thing.
Yeah. I like the details they added to his teenage design. I think they're really neat.
Some goggles. I've seen that a lot too.
Yeah.
What about Cinder? Do you think Cinder should be in a new game?
It kind of varies on what they can do with her, because she already has her own backstory where she was corrupted by Malefor. So I don't know how they can actually top that if Cinder were to ever be brought back. They would either have to mix it up or just make a new backstory for Cinder or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So my vision, so my idea for my idea for Cinder's character is maybe have her live in an alternate dragon realm where where it's being completely taken over by Malefor, but this time she is a rebel, and she's leading an army of resistance dragons, but they need some backup from another dragon world. I think that's all I got.
Well, that's an interesting one. I like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, if you were to write the story of Spyro 4, like, what ideas would you have for it?
Okay, so I made a video last year where I wrote my own version of how the story should go, but I kept rethinking this story, and basically it was where everybody moved on with their lives. Like, Hunter and Bianca moved on, Allura moved on, all of his friends moved on, so Spyro was just left with Sparks until another dragon finds him and is like, hey, the bad guy is doing something, I need your help. That's pretty much the premise.
Cool. You said everyone else, like, moved on. What do you imagine that they would be doing?
Well, since Hunter and Bianca are canonically a couple, I think the idea would probably just be for them to get hitched or something, and Allura would probably take over Avalar or something.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I think that's all I got.
So I saw that a while back you started on a Spyro comic.
Yeah, I did. It's on hold at the moment, because I'm currently focusing on other projects like Dimension Ride and stuff.
Yes, Dimension Ride. Chapter 3 soon. Chapter 3 dub soon, I hope.
I hope I can get that done. So the Spyro comic is it was originally going to be like kind of a movie idea where I kind of wanted to like make my own vision of how a feature film based on Spyro could happen. But admittedly, I didn't really have a whole lot of ideas for the story. But basically, the plot takes place during the events of the first game. And this is where Spyro and Sparks get their character development, and we give the audience a reason to want to root for them. And there's also the save fairy who's tagging along and making sure Spyro doesn't die.
Nice. I like how you made the save fairy like an actual character.
Yeah, I actually planned like one scene where Spyro almost gets killed, but then the save fairy, we named her Glitter, by the way, and she brings him back to the save point, and that's where she zaps him, and she does this Hero's Tale reference for where she mentions taking away his brain cells.
Huh. That's really cool. I do hope that you get back to working on that whenever you have time, because that sounds like it could be a pretty cool comic.
I might get back to it someday.
Nice. And actually, going off of that, I wanted to ask, like, how has Spyro impacted your art? Because you're an artist, so I'm sure that you've been influenced by Spyro in some ways and other things.
Yeah, Spyro wasn't the only thing that influenced my art style. Like, it was pretty much Toys for Bob's art style in general with Crash Bandicoot 4, and there were other art styles based on Sonic and other cartoon shows I watched growing up.
Nice. What would you say has had the most impact on your art and style?
I would say Spyro Reignited, because it helped me learn to actually get better with character designs, and it made me want to start practicing facial expressions and anatomy and stuff like that. And I really have Nicholas Cole to thank, because if it wasn't for him, I don't think my art would be what it is now. Yeah,
his art is incredible. I love that art book. I've got the art book right here. It's full of some great stuff, and by a lot of the other artists too.
He's truly a talented man.
Yeah, I hope that he continues to do concept art for other games.
I think he's still doing concept art for projects today. He's probably, I don't know if he's working for Toys for Bob now, but he's definitely doing a lot of concept art work for like other projects he's working on.
And I know in addition to being an artist and doing your comics and stuff, you've also had an interest in making like games of your own, because I think Dimension Ride at one point was like going to be a game.
It was going to be many different things. Like originally I wanted it to be like a feature-length movie as well, but I didn't know how that was going to work. So I eventually settled with a comic because I felt like it was the easiest to work on. And to this day, I still feel proud of it.
And it has a lot of fans too. Like I've really been enjoying seeing what you put out for the comic. In fact, since I'm out of Spyro related questions, if you would like to plug Dimension Ride and tell everyone what that's about.
You want me to shamelessly self-advertise the comic?
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, Dimension Ride is where furries go on an adventure to save the multiverse from the bad guy. And one of the main characters is a sexy cat that Miharu voices.
Yes, that's me.
That's her.
Melina's been one of my favorite characters to voice.
Yeah, and let me tell you, she certainly has a lot of fans.
I'm really interested to see where the story goes and like what else her character does, because she's been just really, really fun.
I love to explore that as the story goes on.
I know it's gonna get crazy. I know you got some big ideas.
Yeah, we're still planning the story and the world building and the other dimensions that we're still trying to establish. And I got some ideas for some of the other characters too that I'm thinking of making prominent later in the story. So yeah, that's something for the fans to look forward to.
Nice. Yeah, I was going through some of your old stuff, and I found the character Mindy Jones, and I really liked her, and I was like, I hope you bring her in.
I might do that someday.
Like, she looks like a dark Melina, and I love it. I'm like, that could be like some like counterpart story. I love that trope.
You know, maybe I should make that happen.
Man, yeah. That sounds exciting. That'd be awesome. Alrighty. Thank you, Travis, for being on the 40th episode of SpyroCast.
It was my pleasure.
I'll definitely have you on again sometime in the future. Maybe, once we get some proof of Spyro 4, maybe once we get a trailer, if it ever happens, but we've definitely got a lot to talk about once that happens, as I'm sure everybody else does in the Spyro fandom.
If that eventually happens, I look forward to it.
Nice. Alright. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And as always, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe for more casual gaming content. And I will see you next time. Until then, this is Miharu, signing off.
Bye-bye!